Hey folks, I'm Morgan Auger. Who am I here with?
I'm Steph.
Steph. Okay, and what are we here talking about today?
We're here to talk about the North Vancouver Mountain Valley Overpass Rally.
Right. Which, tell me more about this because you reached out to me a little bit back, a little while ago about that, and it's been going on for a while, right?
Yeah, so it started on March 23rd, 2023. There was a sign or a banner promoting the organization Soji International Task Force, which is an anti-Soji 123, anti-trans organization. Really, really horrible. They actually promote the idea that Soji 123 is a WEF and United Nations conspiracy to depopulate the planet.
It's the globalists.
Yeah, the globalists are not
let's
Jews.
just hold Jewish conspiracy things. Yes, Yeah, we hear that a lot, right?
Yeah.
I gotta talk to George. George, he doesn't pay. He doesn't pay me enough.
Oh, I hear you get $300 an hour.
Yeah, if only. So they've been doing this for a while, right? And
yeah, they've been at it for a couple of months. This rally actually started last summer, but the banner didn't actually make an appearance until I think it was January 13th or January 14th in Abbotsford at the regular McCallum Overpass rally there.
Right, and this is on provincial property, right? And they're basically like an anti-Trump. Pro-Trump, presumed. I should say that anti-Trudeau rally, and it's all about vaccination. There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of everything going on. Is that right? Is that right, basically?
Yeah, everything is kind of under the umbrella of fighting the globalists and fighting, the WEF and the UN. So it's this kind of milkshake of causes that have been blended together and sprayed all over an overpass.
It's the twitchy again it people. Right.
Yeah, so there's vaccine conspiracies, conspiracies around the new Bill 36, which has passed, monkeypox,
C11. You must have been talking about C11, other things. Okay, and then you brought this to my attention.
Yeah.
Right? What was why? Why did you come up to me about it?
I mean, it's a horrible banner, and it's really harmful, and it's advertising a site that is just profoundly anti-trans.
Yes.
They say it's about Soji 123, but in the next breath they say that they don't want their children to even have to acknowledge that queer and trans people exist. And it's all wrapped up in that kind of parents' rights movement that's starting to bubble up again, where they think that, they own their children over the government.
Which they don't. As a matter of fact, they're accountable to their children.
Yeah, it's bringing up a lot of kind of anti-woke
anger
stuff around what they think critical race theory is a massive problem in Canada.
Well, you can make anybody think anything if you only give them specifically selected information to scare them, right? We see this a lot. I'm going to scare you with one or two facts surrounded by a whole bunch of lies, and then they get all scared. Yeah. So you brought this to me, and you kind of wanted... You had some questions, right? And we looked into what our options were, right? And we decided that it was some options. The sign was a violation of human rights law, we think. I think I brought that to the attention of our province, that the Ministry of Highways is accountable for hate propaganda on its land because of Section 7 of the BC Human Rights Code. Probably hate speech goes into there, but we knew that was a long shot. It's really hard to get a hate speech thing to stick. So, and then what did I do? I went in and put out some tweets on social media. You started to track it on social media, right?
Yeah, I've been tracking it kind of since it came up. Not necessarily publicly because, I have concerns about blasting transphobia all over the internet.
That's always the downside of addressing transphobia, is having to show it, right? People are being awful. Oh yeah, prove it. And it's here we go. I'm going to rest my arm a little here.
Do you want me to hold it for a bit?
You want to hold it for a bit? You hold it for a bit.
Oh my God.
Your thumb is there. You have to go like that. There you go.
Where is your...
There you go. Right
there. We go. Okay.
It's right there. How does that work? Let me help this one.
Okay.
How does this work? Okay, we're continuing here. Oh, I'm not in there. Oh, a minute. Okay, like this. So then we got... What happened? So I put out some tweets explaining our analysis. You had... background tweets. We got some people involved and tried to find out what was going on, because when you're complaining to government about things, you want to make sure that you're stating facts, right? That's really important. And then we brought it to the attention of a couple of ministers. And then what happened?
Well, on April 27th, the Ministry of Transportation issued a notice stating that...
I got it again.
Okay.
My arm is rested.
Perfect. Yeah, so on April 27th, the Ministry of Transportation posted a notice on the overpass that that no one could congregate there or hang signs on the railings. And obviously that was ignored by the group. It was actually quite a large rally. At that point, it was the largest rally of the history of that overpass. And that garnered a lot of news attention. CTV covered it, Global covered it, eventually the North Shore News covered it, after seeking the perspective of transphobes.
You gotta have all sides. The people
Yeah.
who have a right to exist and the people who are trying to incite a genocide.
Yeah.
You gotta have the genocide side of the argument, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know about that, but I guess you need to have an opposing argument, and otherwise it's not fun in the news.
Yeah. And that really kind of riled them up. There's a video that Rebel made of me going around about how I lied about what happened at the overpass to CTV, and it's like just the amount of time and effort they spent watching what was like a 30-second clip of me saying that this was unacceptable is just like profound.
Well, it was unacceptable. Nevertheless, you know what? It turns out that then we got a development just yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
What happened yesterday?
So, well, I should probably go back one more week. So I think it was May 4th, was a very large rally on the overpass, probably like 40 to 50 people. And that was not good. They kind of saw it as like sticking it to the man.
Oh, right.
And like they won.
Taking the power back.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is a problem. And then yesterday, May 11th, I was concerned about what might happen because I knew that there were some people who were angry and maybe showing up to counter protest, which is, you know,
There had been a lot of talk
risk.
about that. There had been some consideration about whether it's time to start counter protesting, or whether it's important to give them a chance to get the message.
So I went down to the overpass to see what was going on, to just kind of observe, maybe take some photos, see who was there. And as I was walking down the road, I came across several police officers.
Just gonna
like,
change there. There you go, like this.
like 4 or 5 police officers and maybe 1 or 2 people from the Ministry of Transportation, just kind of standing around. So I went up to them and I asked them what was going on and what they were doing about the mess, because it was a smaller overpass rally yesterday. There were only about 10 of them, thankfully. And I had a very long conversation with North Vancouver RCMP, someone from their outreach team, who informed me that if I was upset by hate, that meant that they won and that I should just not be upset about it. And then they told me that the only way they could take action is if the mayor and the ministries involved had a court order. At that point, the RCMP would have to enforce the court order.
Right, a court order.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah, very
Now,
interesting.
What did you find on the bridge, posted on the bridge after you spoke to police?
So after I spoke to police, I walked down onto the overpass, and I saw a court order that had been issued May 11th in the Supreme Court of British Columbia, laminated and zip-tied on several points across both sides of the overpass, stating that no one was to occupy, loiter around, hang signs off of the overpass, as well as quite a large section of highway underneath the overpass.
Right. So basically all the land involved in the overpass concept.
Yeah. All of the on-ramps are covered.
So I tweeted about that. I'll put the link to my tweet with the photos in the comment section somewhere. Look for it. It also said that you couldn't use the overpass property for any purpose other than what regular use of an overpass property is, which is transiting or resting while transiting or something like this. Basically, stop misusing provincial infrastructure to host up your awful, hateful signs, you bad people.
Yeah.
But you know what? And then what happened?
And then I just stood there and watched them and took some photos, and then they just spontaneously decided to leave.
Right. So when they saw that you had gone to see the court order and talk to the police,
all of a sudden,
they saw the part in the court order that says the police can arrest them, and they're gone. That's great. You know, that's really great. You know what? I have to say, it's really nice after decades of putting up with people inciting hatred by illegally using public infrastructure, that now we have a clear message of what you can expect is going to happen. But you know, they were inciting hatred. They were inciting forbidden discrimination. And here I have a challenge to anybody who feels that they're being wrongly accused of inciting public discrimination. If the people that put up the sign yesterday were to come forward to me and tell me who they are, I can give you my word that I will put in a complaint to the BC Human Rights Tribunal, and we can have a test of whether actually, in fact, you were inciting prohibited discrimination under Section 7 of the BC Human Rights Code, or you were expressing your free speech. Because I'm pretty sure that the people who put up that banner, they think that all speech is free speech.
They're just letting you know that the government is brainwashing your children.
Right. Whereas, as we all know, hate speech is not free expression. And publications that incite hatred or advertise an intent to discriminate and urge others to do it, those things are forbidden in British Columbia under Section 7 of the BC Human Rights Code. And if you don't understand, you should go ask Mr. Bill Watcott what happened to him when he tested that. You know, which my case, if I have to bring it forward, will broadly quote OJ v. Watcott, 2019 BC Human Rights Tribunal, number 7, the decision which was released in 2019. Okay. Anything else? Did we forget anything?
One thing, this banner has recently showed up in Delta, Ladner. I'm not super familiar with south of the Fraser. There's a group in Ladner that is now posting it on their overpass rallies, which is a problem. And this banner has also appeared in Abbotsford a few times. So, you know, continue the fight. Like we've seen a great result from this work in North Vancouver. So let's make sure the rest of the province has the same protections.
Right, and as you heard Stephanie say, what the police said is the police couldn't act if they didn't have a court order or request to act. And in the comments of this video, you will get a reference to the case that was done to bring in the court order. So what I propose any municipal official does or should do if their municipality features hate propaganda from a bridge, I recommend that you look at the case that the province brought forward against John Doe, Jane Doe, and other unknowns, and follow suit, because the province is willing to deliver the court orders. All you have to do is put in a request, and I think that's really good news.
Yeah.
I think court orders should be used on other things than to stop, you know, people asking that you don't use their land without their permission and things like this. They should be used to protect the public from nuisance and people doing nuisance things. Okay, well, I'm Morgan Auger.
I'm Steph.
And thank you so much for watching us. I don't know where we're going to post this. I look forward to what's in the comments, and I'm sure you'll be watching the comments as well.
It'll be great.
Have a wonderful day. It's the weekend. Wonderful. It's going to be warm in the 30s this week. Vancouver has blessed us. Look, you see, look, if there is a weather god, and if the weather god was watching what happened on the overpass, the weather gods approve of that court order. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.